Good day and greetings from the Great Way North. My name is Prickly Boo, and welcome back to week 60, the end of week 60. The end of a fairly non-progressive block of time. It's been about 8 weeks. Well, it has been exactly 8 weeks, actually, since we finished off our first series. And in that 2-month period, I have made fuck all progress. Really. When I ended the first series, I had lost about 98 pounds. And although I haven't done my official weigh-in, I'm lower today than I have been in a while. So overall, I've lost maybe 102 pounds at most. As of right now, anyway. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but hopefully it'll be a little bit better. So losing, well, it's been about I'm drooling, sorry. It's been about 4 or 5 pounds over 8 weeks, which is really horrendous progress when I look at it. And there's been a number of different things, I think, that have sort of contributed to that. Nothing that I can point at and say, well, that's why I haven't lost weight. Well, that's why I haven't lost weight. When I first finished off that first series, I wanted to take some time off. And in my head, I thought that if I continued on my own, then I'll be able to just sort of keep doing what I was doing and I'll still make progress. And because I was sort of set in a pattern, I knew what I needed to do and I could just keep going from there. Obviously, no. Without that structure, I've faltered. And so, which is why I started up second series, which has helped a lot, even just in the past couple of weeks when I've been doing it. Just having that structure to it. And same with this as well. But by the way, I'm going to deviate for a second. This is going to be the last Saturday that we have these updates because starting next week, I'm going to do like a Sunday, Wednesday sort of thing. So these will actually, the weight loss updates are going to be coming every Wednesday instead. So next week, which is in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days, that's going to be probably a little bit shorter because you'll be updated up until this point. But you'll have a new weigh-in and I'll know what my goals are for the next week and all the other good stuff. Anyway. When I decided to sort of take some time off, I was hoping I was going to make some progress, but I think in the back of my head I kind of thought, not going to make as good as progress as I should, or as much progress as I should. And obviously I haven't because it's very, very little weight loss overall, and there have been a couple of weeks when I've actually gone up. So having the second series has helped, but one of the things that I noticed, and I've always had this issue since stopping during the first series, weekends are my weak point. Because I don't have that structure of getting up in the morning, doing my exercise, going to work, having my lunch ready at work, and then coming home and having reasonable dinner and everything else. I'm home throughout the weekend, or else I'm going out, or there isn't that same structure. So I'm running every which way on the weekends. And on top of that, usually now, those are the days that I go to a friend's house for a gaming session. And when I go there, what I found is that, the past few weeks especially, that I thought, well, I can have a snack here and there. It's fine throughout the week. I'm still doing what I need to do. And then on Saturdays, I can have a bit of a relaxed day. So I try to eat sensibly throughout the day, and then at night, I'm fine. What I've found, though, is that when I'm going back and looking at stuff, is that on Saturday, it's sort of become the norm that I know I'm going to be going over. So no matter what I do during the day, because just eating shitty foods and stuff like that, because you're with a group of friends and everything else, and it's sort of a regular occurrence that happens. So last weekend, when I went, that's really when it dawned on me is after I bought some stuff to take with me, and it was just like, what am I doing? This is undoing everything I've done throughout the week. And it's not that I'm sitting eating 3 and 4 bags of chips and, handfuls and handfuls of candy, but throughout, a 4 or 5 hour session, you're sitting there, you're snacking here, and then you take a little something there, and you take a little something there, and it's, again, that mindless eating. So I actually left the entire bag of everything that I had with them and didn't eat it. I tried like 1 or 2 things out of each thing, and that was it. So I didn't even really go over for that Saturday. Still, I think I marked myself down that I did, but because I sort of planned ahead. And I got to a point where I thought, this is ridiculous because I'm undoing everything I'm doing throughout the week. And the fact that, again, this week I was able to do, or especially last week, I was able to do a 5K every single day. And I've done it again this week on my treadmill in the morning, except for yesterday, which we'll get to. The fact that I'm able to do that, and yet I'm still either gaining or not losing, tells me that I'm doing something wrong. So when I look at everything I'm doing, should have slapped me in the face a long time ago that obviously this is the problem. So this week, I thought, I'm going to go back to not the old snacking habits that I had before, but these like older snacking habits, that we sort of adopted during that first series. So as luck would have it, seedless grapes were on sale this week. They're usually really expensive, like $5 or $6 a pound, and it's not worth it to go, oh, look, $6 worth, and this is so much better. But they were on sale, so I bought 4 bags because they're like $2 a pound, so I bought $20 worth and threw them in my freezer, and that's what I've been going on throughout the week. And I feel much better. I've made progress this week. I've been able to still do my treadmill and everything else, and still doing the exercise that we planned out for Series 2. I've been able to sort of follow along with everything that way, and I can see that there is progress. And where, this is what I want to do from now on and I should have really, this isn't something that I'm going, oh, I never noticed this before. I think in the back of my head, there was always that, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing this. It actually got so bad at one point that, especially during this week, when I'm looking at, okay, I'm not making progress, and that old voice came back in my head saying, well, maybe this is where your, equilibrium is. And we've always told ourselves that at some point, like, oh, well, I'll never be skinny. I'm not going to be one of those people that'll ever be, fit because that's just not the way my genetics work. We know that's bullshit. We know that we can fix anything. Like, it doesn't matter how small you are or how big you are. You can change things just like with eating habits and exercise and all the other stuff. We know that we can do that. So, but that started creeping in. And that is a very slippery slope. Back to the old days when I could just go, well, then maybe I'm always destined to be fat and blah, 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 and everything else. So as soon as I thought that, immediately it dawned on me. I'm like, no, you know what? You're bullshitting yourself. You're doing this yourself. You are the reason why you haven't been making progress. Yes, you're still doing your exercise, but you're using that as an excuse. And saying, well, I'm exercising, I should be losing weight. And we know that's simply not true. That the exercise is a very small part of the weight loss. That like 10-20% of it. The rest of it is your diet. And although in my head I'm still thinking, well, I was having sunflower seeds and that should be okay. They're still high in fat and high in salt and everything else. It's still better than chips, but it's still not as good as, say, for example, frozen grapes. So I've decided to go back to my old snacking habits. Now, maybe once I'm to a stage where I'm actually doing a workout every day and I'm at the weight that I need to be, or I'm at a healthy weight, then yes, then I can sort of go back to the sunflower seeds and having candy here and there and maintaining that weight that way. But I'm not at a stage right now where I want to maintain this weight. I'm still obese, and I want to get rid of that. I want to get down to a healthy weight. So that's why I'm sort of going back. If I want something sweet, I'll go with dates or grapes again. If I want something salty, I'm going to go back to the old pickle. That sounded much dirtier than I intended. Sorry. I'm going to have that old pickle deep inside me. It'll be great. All the old things that we sort of looked at when we were first starting out. These are, alternatives to snacking. I want to get back to that. And where I've done it this week, I feel a little bit better. I don't have, obviously, as much salt in my diet as I did throughout the past couple of weeks, and I've made a little bit of progress. And especially where I've been steadily gaining, like I'm at a low, I don't want to say a low point, this sounds bad, but my weight this morning, when I weighed myself before I actually had breakfast, it was at the lowest I've ever been for my weight, so I feel really good about that. So I've had breakfast, I've had a big breakfast. Still healthy stuff though, don't worry. Oats and bran and bananas and grapes and all the other good stuff, but very big breakfast. But I know that I'm going to be able to make progress this week, and then continuing on this way, I'll be able to just sort of keep doing that. Now, getting back to the treadmill. Throughout this week, it's been very good. I've sort of fluctuated between walking for half a kilometer and then doing my 5K and then walking for another half kilometer. But part of that, of course, in my head, when I was thinking, well, maybe I'm not doing the full 7 kilometers like I was before. Because before I was doing 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off, 15 on, 15 off. So I wasn't actually exercising for a full hour when I was doing the 5K. Which in my head, I'm thinking maybe that's it, that extra 1 kilometer. But 1 kilometer is 1 kilometer. But no, obviously it was the diet. But I decided to go back to that. So not the 15 on and 15 off, but walking for 1 kilometer, then running my 5K, then walking for 1 kilometer to cool down. And that's what I've done throughout this week. And I've been able to maintain that all week long, except for Sunday, obviously. I don't do anything on the weekends, which I should, but which I've been saying for 6 months. Anyway, yesterday I got up. I had crashed early Thursday night, like really early, like 8 o'clock at night, and still got up at 5. I really took a long time to get my ass in gear and started my treadmill about 5:45, which is quite a bit later than I normally do. And started in, did my 1 kilometer to start walking, and then started my jog. And I got about 2.5 kilometers in total, and I couldn't do it anymore. I probably could have if I had pushed myself a little bit harder and said, no, smarten up, you can do this. But it wasn't in me. And we're going to have days like that where we're just like, no, no, fuck this. I can't. I'm exhausted already before the day has even started. And the day in general has just sort of been kind of shitty anyway, throughout work and everything else. But when I came home, I'd had the rest of the day to deal with everything. Work was done. I was feeling a little bit better. The weekend was coming up. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this again. I'm going to give it another shot because I still need to get this done throughout the day. And not that it's a chore, but I don't want to lose that streak. I don't want to come back and say, I didn't do anything this weekend or this week. I missed a day. So I started in, but I did sort of a shortened version. I walked for half a kilometer, then ran my 5K, and then walked for another half kilometer. But that combined with the 2.5 kilometers I did in the morning, I'm content with that. And for that, I'm going to count that as 8 kilometers, not 8.5. I don't want to have decimal points in there. And like if I run 8 or walk and run, because it's a combination of my running total that I keep going. If I'm doing like 8.9 kilometers, I'm counting it as 8. I'm going to always round down to the nearest kilometer that way. Because I don't want to start sort of sneaking up and going, oh, no, it's actually 9. So 8 kilometers is good. So I was very happy with that. I was able to sort of finish that off. And at least that way, there's something that I can say, as tired as I was, I can come back and I can do it after work and it's still going to be okay. So in a pinch, if something happens, my alarm doesn't go off or I sleep in or something goes wrong, I know that I'm still going to have the energy to come back even after a shitty day and do it at the end of the day. And I thought about doing this sort of as a regular thing and saying, well, maybe I could, wake up a little bit later and do this stuff at the end of the day. But I know in my head that if I do that, something's going to happen where, if I plan it for the end of the day and something goes wrong, I have no time to make that up. But in the morning, I know I have all the time in the world. As long as I get up at the right time, I can get stuff done. And if something does go wrong, I can do it when I come home. And then if something goes wrong again, well then, nothing I can do. But at least it's not I feel like if I say, well, I'm going to do this at night now, then that's sort of setting myself up so that, well, if something happens, I'll have an excuse and say, well, I planned it for at night, but, it didn't for at night. But it, something went wrong and wasn't able to do it. But anyway, in general, this week has been very good. I've had a lot of stuff thrown at me. I've had pizza thrown at me, which I did not have. They had like 2 days worth of cakes and pizzas and potlucks and everything else going on at work. But it's work, so I'm not going to go and eat stuff at work. Everyone's sneezing and coughing and hacking and barfing and puking and shitting all over the place in there because I don't know if it's the end of flu season for some reason in spring, but everyone seems to be sick. So I assume that if you're going to go and eat something, number one, I'm not going to eat in front of people because it's, and two, if you're going to eat something at work, you have to assume there's phlegm and spittle all over it. So I completely avoided that anyway, which was not that difficult to do. A friend of mine did make me a cake. Little cake thing, and so yes, I had a piece of cake, but I shared it it was like a small little cakey thing, but I did not, that was last weekend when I was saying that I need to stop eating cakes and candies and everything else, but very, very good, first cake I've had in a very, very long time, like in over a year now. I know I'm always talking about it, but it's cake, so like having something like that, I'm okay there. That's sort of in the last week. I gave the rest to his kid, though. And just in general, though, the week has been very positive. And not in a fault, it's all sunshine and smiles. But genuinely positive in that, I'm feeling better because, not really because I've cut out, bad snacking is making me feel lethargic and shitty and everything else. Just the fact that, again, I can look at my situation and say, I've been fucking up for 8 weeks. Not severely, like I haven't been steadily gaining, but I haven't really been losing. It's sort of been up and down for the past 8 weeks, and I know what I need to do. So getting back to even just the healthy snacking portion of it, and looking at my situation and saying, like, I'm the only reason why I'm not succeeding, why I'm not losing weight, and why I'm not progressing the way I want to. So I need to start doing this. If I hit a plateau at that point, then fine. It's going to be a legitimate plateau, and I'll be able to say that, and then I know eventually it's going to drop off again, and we'll be able to continue on. But for right now, I know that it's my eating habits that are contributing to this. So by fixing those, that's what I mean when I say I feel better. Physically, I feel a little bit better as well, just because I don't have, the extra salt and the fat and everything else going in me when I know that's what it is. But just in general, like, that's just a little bit better. But in general, I feel better, that I feel like I'm back on track, and starting that second series has helped with that a lot, because I know that there's that structure there that I can sort of hang on to, that I need. And I'll be able to do this halfway through the week, and then I'll be able to do the updates, or the series 2, which will start tomorrow again. I'll have those on the weekends, so it's not going, 5 or 6 days with nothing. It's going to be, evenly spaced as well, which I think is going to help keep me on track. And as these progress as well, I know this has sort of been a long update, but generally they're going to be very short updates throughout the middle of the week, and start talking about different topics again, because we've sort of gotten away from that. I know I had mentioned plantar fasciitis a while ago, which is your heels hurt because you're too fat, which I had for a very, very long time, so we haven't talked about that. Different things that we sort of maybe have missed in the first series, new things that are sort of coming up, whether it's loose skin or confidence issues or anything like that sort of we've noticed as we've started to lose weight and progress that way. I'd like to start getting into those topics as well. So we'll start doing those. But it's been a weird 2 months since we ended the first series. For me anyway, it hasn't been a very successful 2 months. I'm sure some of you out there are still going strong. Bravo, keep it up. But for me, I feel like I'm just now sort of getting back on track, which I'm sure that I've said over the past 2 months anyway, every week, because we always do that to ourselves. We go, well, this time I'm going to do it right. But really, with everything sort of falling into place the way that it needs to, and having that structure, me getting away from bullshitting myself and believing that I could still have little bad snacks every now and then, I'm not to that point yet. I'm not quite ready. I need to get down to a healthy weight first, and have my exercise regimen evolve to where it needs to be. Then I think I can start adding in these things here and there. But until then, I'm going to sort of stay where I am and keep going with healthier snacks if I'm going to be doing the snacking thing. My meals have pretty much stayed the same, which is good, but it's just those little cheaty moments when I think, well, I'm eating well all day, I can have one of these. I can, but it's not going to progress me where I need to be. It's just going to sort of keep me where I am, and I don't want that yet, because we aren't done. I'm about 100 pounds down. I have another 50 to go. So 2/3 of the way through is still good, but I still need to work on that. And once I get to where I need to be, then I can start going, all right, now I can reward myself with more cake. Which, let's face it, is what you want for a reward for anything that you do. It doesn't matter what it is. That's the best reward that you can have. So there. Anyway, that is what is in store for the next little while. Anyway, I don't know if I've sort of projected enough in the future, but at least for the scheduling, Sundays and Wednesdays and things like that, starting tomorrow when we start in on week 2 of Series 2 as well. But with these, I think the Wednesday thing is going to work out well. It's a nice point in the middle where I can sort of say, well, here's where I was, here's where I'm going. So it doesn't feel like it's, well, the end of the week, here's my update, so now the week is done, I can do whatever I want. It'll sort of be a continuation, Wednesday to Wednesday, which will be interesting. And I'll still be able to sort of keep you up to date on weight loss and different topics and everything else. In the meantime, for right now, I'm going to leave this video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video.